Good evening and welcome to you all. My name is Ethna Tinney. My single motivation to stand as a candidate for Seanad is the havoc that could yet be wreaked on this country by our own homegrown banks. Surely, you might say to me, the banks have learnt their lesson. And I would say back to you, they certainly have. They were taught that if they steered their ships onto the rocks, they would be bailed out by the government with taxpayers' money. So why wouldn't they do it all over again? Let me tell you a story. In 2005, at a board meeting of EBS, we non-executive directors found out that we had wasted €6 million on a failed merger with Rabobank. The board was dismayed, and there was silence. Then the most senior director said in his stentorian voice, "We'll bury it in the accounts." Everyone breathed again, except me. The truth is that for senior managers and board members, banking is a thoroughly enjoyable game that excites and delights and pays extraordinarily well. Remuneration bears no relationship to ability. That has been proven again and again, going back decades. Irish Trust Bank, Merchant Bank and PMPA are just three of the more spectacular failures. Yet the bankers continue to play their game with the connivance of successive governments. Regulation will not work. These people always find a way around it. It's part of their game. How can they be stopped? By a simple mechanism called competition. Think Aer Lingus and Ryanair. If I'm elected to Seanad, I will introduce legislation to set up a state-owned bank called the Mortgage Credit Corporation, or MCC for short, similar to ACC and ICC, which both served very well our country. The board will have representation from the central bank and the Department of Finance, but government appointments will be prohibited. Bonuses will be outlawed. Senior management will be on fixed salaries. There are thousands of experienced and principled workers made redundant by the banks who will be delighted to bring their skills back to help a resurgent Ireland. Rules will be strict but fair. Applicants faking salary levels will be shown the door of MCC, as will property developers, though some loans will be extended to small and medium enterprise, currently dying on the vine. MCC will offer mortgages at European interest rates. That's roughly 2.4%. Our cartel banks herd together on a rate of around 4.2%. For people with a modest mortgage of $250,000, for example, that gap of 1.8% costs them €4,500 per annum. There is a market in that gap. Then an amazing thing will happen. The cartel banks will realise that they have to lower their mortgage rates if they want to compete, and their greed will be checked. The other legislation I want to introduce concerns government bank bailouts. This will be legally outlawed, except through a referendum of the people, as happened in Iceland in March 2010. There, 98% of the people voted no, and a mere 2% voted yes. And were they not quite right? Why should the people of any country be forced to hand over their money to failed private enterprise? If the banks know they will not be bailed out in future, they will regulate themselves properly, and they will not fail. And in case you're wondering, Iceland is flourishing these days. Thank you.